You pin her down and she surrenders. Your grip on her hips is firm, your rhythm deliberate, and she knows there's no escape from the intensity you're giving her. Every thrust pulls a raw moan from her lips, every movement making her body surrender more. Then it happens. Her ass spreads wide, opening without resistance, her body giving you full access. That moment isn't random. It's her body's way of telling you she has surrendered to you completely. It's not just lust, it's submission, it's craving, it's trust. She's not only letting you inside her body, she's letting you own the moment, take her deeper, and give her pleasure she can't deny. And when a woman opens like that under your control, it's her loudest confession that she doesn't just want you, she needs you. When a woman's body opens up during intimacy, particularly when her ass spreads wider in the midst of sex, it is not just a random physical occurrence. It is one of the clearest and most powerful signs that her body is experiencing a deep level of arousal, comfort, and release. Too often, people reduce sex to mechanical thrusts and positions, forgetting that the human body is designed to communicate in ways beyond words. When her body responds in this way, it means that she has surrendered to the moment. Her muscles are relaxed, and her arousal has reached a state where she is no longer holding back. This is where intimacy transforms from an act into a connection, because her body is telling you she is truly into the experience. The human body is built with reflexes, and during heightened sexual arousal, blood flow increases to the pelvic area. This makes the muscles more sensitive, but also more willing to expand. Just like her pupils dilate when she is excited or her lips swell when she is passionately kissed, her intimate parts also respond with visible physical cues. So, when her ass widens or opens during sex, it is the body's involuntary way of saying she is at her peak of enjoyment. It shows that she is not tense, she is not resisting, but rather she is leaning into the rhythm of pleasure. This is not something she can fake. It is a raw, unfiltered truth that you as a man need to learn to read and appreciate. Think about it this way: intimacy is as much about psychology as it is about biology. A woman cannot fully let go if her mind is still guarded, worried, or unsure. Her body will stay tense, her movements restricted, and her muscles closed. But the moment she feels safe, the moment she feels that her partner is not just taking her body but holding her soul in the process, her mind relaxes and her body follows. That opening up is symbolic. It means she trusts you enough to lose control. It means she has reached a place where pleasure overrides self, consciousness, where vulnerability becomes her strength, and where her body mirrors her emotions. From a scientific point of view, when arousal intensifies, the anal sphincter and surrounding muscles may relax involuntarily due to heightened blood circulation and the nervous system's response. It's almost like the body's way of preparing itself for deeper intimacy. But from an emotional and romantic perspective, it is much more than physiology. It is an expression of acceptance. It is her body saying, I am yours in this moment. She is not fighting it, she is flowing with it. And when you pay attention to this subtle but profound cue, you realize that you are not just having sex. You are creating an experience that resonates with both body and soul. For many men, these signs often go unnoticed because the focus is too much on performance, ego, or rushing toward climax. But the reality is, if you slow down and actually listen with your eyes and your touch, you'll see that her body has been speaking to you all along. That widening, that opening, is an invitation. It is her body's way of asking you to stay present, to deepen the connection, and to cherish the moment rather than simply rush past it. A man who learns to notice these details becomes unforgettable because he is not just thrusting his way through the act, he is making love with an awareness that most men never develop. It is also important to understand that this body language comes with responsibility. If her body is opening up, it means she has reached a place of trust, and as her partner, you must honor that. This is the moment to be even more attentive, more tender, and more passionate. It is not the time to push her boundaries without consent, but rather to nurture the intimacy you have created. When you respond with love, patience, and sensitivity, you turn sex into something deeply fulfilling for both of you. And that is what every woman remembers, the man who made her feel safe enough to surrender and alive enough to crave more. Now, let's not ignore the romantic symbolism in this. Her opening is not just about muscles and arousal, it is about what intimacy does at its best. It breaks walls. Every woman has emotional walls built over years of experiences, fears, and insecurities. But in the right arms, during the right moment, those walls can fall. Her body opening wide is like a metaphor for her heart opening wide too. She is allowing you in not just physically, but emotionally. And if you are wise, you will realize that these moments are rare and sacred. They deserve to be treasured, not taken for granted. Think about the next time you are with your woman and you notice this happening. Instead of rushing, pause for a second in your heart, recognize what her body is telling you, recognize the level of intimacy she is offering you, and instead of treating it like just another physical reaction, treat it like a gift. Because that's what it truly is, a gift of trust, a gift of vulnerability, and a gift of pleasure shared. When you do that, you will never see sex as just a physical act again. You will see it as a dance of bodies, a meeting of souls, and a silent conversation that only lovers can understand. So, yes, when her ass opens wide during sex, it is not something to laugh at or ignore. It is not a sign of something wrong. It is one of the most beautiful signs that you are doing something right. It means her body is alive, her soul is surrendered, and her pleasure has taken over. It means you have reached a level with her that many men never reach. And if you can recognize and honor this moment, you will unlock not just her body, but her heart, her passion, and her deepest desire for you. When a woman's body responds during intimacy by opening up in such a visible way, it is not only a reflection of her physical arousal, but also a mirror of her psychological state. Her body is telling you what her lips may never say out loud. She feels safe, she feels desired, and she feels free enough to let go. This is where sex and psychology intertwine, because without her mental surrender, the body would never respond so openly. The truth is, intimacy is not only a game of bodies, it is equally a game of the mind. And when her body opens wide, it means her mind has opened first. A woman carries many invisible burdens into the bedroom. She may have insecurities about her body, doubts about how much you desire her, or fears that she may not satisfy you. These insecurities live in her subconscious and affect the way she reacts. If she doesn't trust you, if she doesn't feel beautiful in your eyes, if she feels she is being judged rather than loved, then her body will tense up. She will hold back, her movements will be guarded. But when she feels completely wanted, when your touch, your words, and your energy tell her that she is enough, something magical happens. She surrenders. And that surrender shows up not just in her eyes or her moans, but in her body literally loosening and opening in ways she could never force herself to. This is why emotional safety is one of the most powerful aphrodisiacs for women. You can try every technique, every position, every skill you've ever read about, but if her mind is closed, her body will follow. On the other hand, you can do something as simple as kiss her forehead, hold her waist gently, whisper affirmations of her beauty, and suddenly her body begins to open as if giving you permission to go deeper. That is not about performance, that is about connection. The widening of her body is proof that your presence has dismantled her defenses. It is not just her body opening, it is her trust unfolding. From a biological point of view, when the mind relaxes, the nervous system allows the body to release tension. The muscles that are usually tight in moments of anxiety or fear now relax. In sex, this relaxation is magnified by arousal, creating a state where her body becomes more receptive and responsive. But from an emotional perspective, what this really means is that you have unlocked something within her that few men ever touch, her vulnerability. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is power in its purest form. Because only when a woman feels vulnerable in a safe way will she allow herself to be fully pleasured without shame, without hesitation, without self consciousness. Consider for a moment the difference between two scenarios. In the first, a man focuses only on his own pleasure, ignoring her reactions, pushing forward without listening. Even if her body reacts slightly, her mind will resist, and she will walk away from the experience feeling used, not loved. In the second scenario, a man pays attention to every detail: the arch of her back, the way her breathing changes, the small gasps she makes when touched a certain way. He responds to these cues, slows down when needed, intensifies when desired, and whispers in her ear that she is the most beautiful woman he has ever touched. In this second scenario, her mind surrenders and her body begins to tell the story through its openings, its movements, and its involuntary responses. This is the power of psychological connection in intimacy. Many men underestimate how much the mental environment matters in sex. They assume arousal is automatic, that once the body is touched, it will simply respond. But for a woman, arousal begins long before penetration. It starts with how she feels about herself in your presence. It begins with how she is touched, spoken to, and respected outside the bedroom. By the time you are inside her, you are not just penetrating her body, you are penetrating her emotional world. And the proof that you've done it right is in the way her body opens without resistance, without hesitation, as though her body is saying to you, "Yes, I want more. I trust you." So when you see her ass widening or her hips moving freely in rhythm with you, understand that this is not just a physical reflex, it is psychological confirmation. It means she is not in her head anymore. She is not calculating, not worrying about how she looks, not thinking about whether she is performing well. She is lost in the moment, consumed by pleasure, and completely present with you. That state of presence is rare, and when you achieve it with her, it creates a memory that lingers far beyond the bedroom. She will remember you not just as a man who gave her orgasms, but as the man who made her feel safe enough to truly let go. The truth is, every woman longs for this kind of intimacy. She longs for a man who can make her feel so safe and so desired that her body forgets to resist. And once she experiences it, she will crave it over and over again because it is addictive. That feeling of opening up, of being free, of being accepted without judgment, it becomes a kind of ecstasy that no casual encounter can ever replace. This is why women often say they are not turned on by just physical appearance or performance. They are turned on by how a man makes them feel. So when her body opens during sex, celebrate it as more than just a sign of pleasure. Celebrate it as a sign of trust, as a symbol of the bond you are building. It is her way of telling you silently that she feels safe in your arms. And in that moment, your role is not to take advantage of her openness, but to honor it, to give her even more love, more attention, more connection. Because when you do, you create a cycle where her body continues to open for you again and again, both physically and emotionally. At the end of the day, sex is never just about bodies. It is about minds, hearts, and the invisible threads of trust that tie two people together. Her body opening wide is a manifestation of that invisible thread being pulled tighter, stronger, and more unbreakable. And if you understand this, you will never see sex as ordinary again. You will see it as a sacred dance where the body speaks truths the mouth could never articulate. And that is what makes you unforgettable in her world. When her body opens wide during sex, beyond the physical and psychological meanings, there is also a deeper spiritual and emotional dimension. This is where intimacy moves from being just about desire or pleasure to becoming something transformative. Many people underestimate this side of sex because they only see it as a physical release. But for a woman, especially, sex can become a pathway to emotional bonding, healing, and even self discovery. The act of her body loosening and expanding is not just about anatomy, It is a symbol of the emotional bond that is being created in that very moment. It is her body's silent way of showing, I belong here, I want this, I am safe, and I am connected. The truth is, every human being craves connection, but women, by their nature, often connect through intimacy at a deeper level. When she opens during sex, it is an involuntary physical reaction, yes, but it also reflects that her emotions are tied into what she is experiencing. She is not detached, she is not simply going through the motions, she is fully present, body and soul. And when a woman reaches this state, she begins to experience not just physical pleasure, but emotional fulfillment. That fulfillment is what makes her body crave you even more because you are not just touching her skin, you are touching her soul. From the perspective of energy, sex is more than an exchange of touch. It is an exchange of life force. When two bodies come together in passion, they exchange energies, emotions, and unspoken truths. Her body opening wide is her way of aligning with your energy, syncing her rhythm with yours. It is emerging, a moment where the lines between giver and receiver blur, and both of you dissolve into the same flow. This is why intimacy that carries depth feels so different from casual encounters. It has energy that lingers long after the act is over. She will feel it in her spirit, not just her body, and that feeling will keep her bonded to you in ways she may not even consciously understand. Think of it like this: when she opens up, she is in a state of surrender, and surrender is the highest form of trust. Trust is not easy for anyone, and for many women, it takes time and effort to allow themselves to be that vulnerable. But once she gives you that trust and her body reflects it through this openness, you have entered a sacred space. This is not something to take lightly because if handled with care, it can deepen love and connection, but if mishandled, it can leave wounds that last for years. This is why a man's awareness in those moments is so important. It is not just about being good in bed, it is about being responsible with the gift she is giving you. For example, when you notice her opening wide, you have two choices. You can either treat it as just a cue to increase your own pleasure, or you can treat it as a moment to slow down, to connect even more deeply, to look into her eyes, to kiss her in a way that tells her you are fully with her. The second choice is what transforms sex into an experience she will never forget. Because in that moment, she feels not just taken, but cherished. And every woman longs to be cherished, to be seen, to be felt beyond her physical body. It is also worth noting that this openness is a reminder of how powerful vulnerability can be in relationships. In everyday life, she may be strong, guarded, and independent, but in the bedroom, when she opens like this, she allows herself to be vulnerable. That vulnerability is not weakness, it is an act of strength, because it takes courage to let someone see and touch you at your most unguarded state. When she allows that, and when you honor it, you become not just her lover, but her safe space. You become the place where she can take off every mask and just be herself. That is a level of intimacy that bonds two people in a way nothing else can. On a deeper emotional level, her body's response also shows the level of connection you've built outside the bedroom. If you nurture her with love, respect, and affection in your daily life, her body will reflect that by responding to you more openly in intimate moments. But if your relationship is filled with neglect, criticism, or disconnection, then her body will not open in the same way because the emotional safety is missing. This is why great intimacy does not start in bed. It starts with how you treat her when you are fully clothed. Her body is simply echoing the love and trust you've built outside those walls. So, when her ass opens wide during sex, see it as a symbol of union on multiple levels. It is her physical body aligning with yours, her psychological defenses crumbling in trust, and her emotional world syncing with your presence. It is a trinity of connection, body, mind, and soul. And when all three align, the intimacy you share becomes unforgettable. That is when sex becomes more than just pleasure. It becomes a form of love-making in the truest sense. At the end of the day, men who understand these signs and honor them stand apart. They are not remembered just for what they did in bed, but for how they made her feel in her core. Because years later, she may forget the details of what position you tried or how long the session lasted, but she will never forget the man who made her feel safe enough to open, loved enough to surrender, and cherished enough to crave more. That memory stays etched in her because it wasn't just sex, it was transformation. So, yes, when her body opens in that way, it is not just lust or desire. It is her way of telling you that you matter to her, that she trusts you, and that she wants more than just the physical connection. She wants to merge with you in body, mind, and soul. If you can recognize this gift, honor it, and nurture it, you will unlock not just her body, but her heart, her loyalty, and her deepest passion for you. And that is where true intimacy lies, in the silent messages her body gives you when words are no longer enough. And that's the beauty of it. When her body opens to you, it's not just sex. It's her trust, her love, and her soul laid bare. If this touched your heart and opened your eyes, don't just keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe for more deep truths about love and intimacy, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your story, your voice, might be the one that inspires someone else today.